Right now, we want to head down to our Beacon Hill studio and we check in with those heavy hitters.
Hi, it's Cosmo Macero Jr. and Associates, a man none too pleased with the series finale of Lost.
The Afterlife? Really? Really inferior competing network? The Afterlife?
Nice shout out at the end there. Peter Cadges of the Boston Phoenix, man none too pleased with the series finale at 24, by the way.
Listen, we shouldn't get into it. Everyone hasn't seen it. I don't want to spoil it.
Well, can we all agree what was the worst series finale in the history of television?
Oh, Seinfeld.
Enough said, gentlemen. Let's talk about a reality show going on right now that's none too pretty to watch down in New Orleans. BP and the administration. Who's right, who's wrong, who should be in control of this? Because we found out yesterday the administration says, well, I think BP's a little more qualified to handle this, and yet BP says, okay, we're going to try jamming mud into the pipe now.
33 days and counting since the leak began. No real end in sight. This is fast becoming the Obama administration's Katrina.
Is it there yet?
It's getting close. Katrina and the aftermath was all about how the Bush administration responded or didn't properly respond. And I think we're getting there. I don't understand the laissez-faire attitude of this administration.
Yeah, Peter, we heard all during the Bush administration when it comes to Iraq, what's the exit strategy? What is the Obama exit strategy with BP? If jamming mud into the hole doesn't work, and who thinks it will, at what point does the Obama administration says, okay, BP, you have no idea what you're doing. We got to get somebody in there that does?
Well, there's two things at work. I don't think the government steps in until it has, I'm making this number up, 2 or 3 new ways that have a reasonable chance of working.
Like Kevin Costner's plan.
So they need that to go in. But there's a bigger thing at work. This is all part of Obama's long ball strategy to get cap and trade passed. Not the oil leak, that's not part of the strategy. But he's trying to buy off the special interests, just like he bought off the big special interests for health care. And I think he wants to be very careful about alienating them.
Yeah, but how many pictures of pelicans covered in oil can he sustain?
There have already been too many for me. I don't think they appreciate the degree of populist outrage that just from watching television, I'm beginning to pick up.
He's not doing the oil industry any favors.
I agree.
By not taking action to help bring this to a resolution.
I would recommend that every day they take a member of BP's board and, crucify him on the platform every day. A public crucifixion of a corporate criminal every day. That might buy him some time.
We know they're not going to do that. They didn't do it with the big government, the big business down in New York. So
trying to bring in MacGruber.
Well, here's the question. You mentioned the public outrage, Peter. With all this outrage and people looking at the calendar and going 33 days, why is it that the only voice of opposition we hear, the only one criticizing the administration, is Sarah Palin? Where are the elected opposition officials here, Cosmo?
You know what? She's a really good attack dog, and that's the role she's playing. She's the attack dog.
She's a pit bull?
I guess that's a cliche, but that's the role that she's playing and doing a pretty good job of it. But look, the administration needs to take action, and I'm sure they're conducting an oil industry Manhattan Project somewhere to figure out how the heck do we stop
this. A little late for that.
But you know what? 33 days and counting.
Well, Sarah Palin's the attack dog for a number of reasons. One, the oil industry gives more money to the Republicans than anyone else, so most of them already bought and sold, and that keeps them quiet. 2, in fairness to those guys who are already bought and sold, it's a very complicated problem, and I'm not sure they have a better idea.
But Sarah Palin understands complicated.
Well, Sarah Palin understands.
I threw that out there. She's not running for election this year. Everyone else is.
She understands political vulnerability and how to attack.
She's just got to flog sales of her upcoming book. She's a serious force, but she's not a serious person.
Look, if she's the only one ripping the administration right now, I'm all for it. I'd like to hear some other people doing it, and we'll get to one of them in a second. First, let's talk about a little closer to home, the probation department, this awesome series by the Boston Globe and the repercussions that have come, Cosmo. We find out yesterday the governor wants the governor's office to take control of the probation department. Therese Murray wants the judiciary to control it. Bob DeLeo says, let's wait and see what happens here. Who's right, who's wrong, where does this end up?
Look, it's a judiciary function. The judiciary needs to clean up its own house and figure out how this could have become such a runaway problem. Although I don't think it's a real mystery to us how patronage works on Beacon Hill, but the series has been a tremendous illustration, not just a snapshot, like Howie Carr has been doing so effectively for many years in the Herald, an aggregation that shows very vividly the systemic problem of patronage in this agency. It's a great piece of work.
Listen, Deval Patrick campaigned on this issue. He's talked about it during all his time in office. I don't think organizationally it's perfect for it to be in the governor's office, but if there's one person on Beacon Hill who's committed to cleaning up that sewer up there, it's Deval Patrick. It should go to him. Look, Therese Murray's looking for a way for the Senate to get its hands in. DeLeo, who, by the way, makes a sensible statement when he says, let's let the reports come, let's see what else is there. Also, I suspect, is looking at how can the House get their hands on it. I say give it to the governor.
Well, I think everyone's hands are already on, and in many cases unclean, because the legislature controls the judiciary budget. That's a big part of the problem. It's also the reality. I'm not sure how you resolve that.
That's a question because I'm over
time
already.
The legislature's the root of the problem.
Do either of you think, regardless of what the solution ends up being, that we're going to see the end of hackdom in the probation department?
No, I don't see we'll see the end of hackdom in state government. But you know what? Here it is. You got to try and solve the problem, or at least address it.
Cut back, not elimination.
Peter Kagis of the Phoenix, Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates. Sorry we didn't get to Rand Paul, gentlemen.
Yeah, big deal.
They're the heavy hitters.